Hello everyone, here we have very interesting posting from Brady on Spectrum, the horror of an open door on the docking port. I spawned my Idris at a station today. When I took the lift to the docking port and ran down the long boom, to my horror I found that the default is for the ship to spawn with the doors open. WTF. There's nothing new, we have the same thing with High C. High C spawns with open doors at the docking port. There isn't even any spot for a button to open or close the door. Yeah. Year 13, $1 billion. We are at Everus, the space station. High C either spawns in a hangar or at the docking arm, and if she spawns at the docking arm, the door is wide open. My guess is there's no button on the outside to open the door. This would be really silly though. CIG's reply to an IC report was, "Thanks for the report. While this is a valid feedback, we have to close this as it's not a bug." Yeah, not a bug. As far as I know, only the owner of a ship can ask for permission to start. This means strangers who sneak onto your ship at a docking port cannot just steal it, but they can hide on your ship, wait until you left Armistice Zone, kill you, and then they can take your ship. I would like to remind everyone again that you are responsible for your ship and your cargo.
When it comes to loading and unloading of cargo in space, docking arms for ships and in hangars, how do you plan to protect the player's ship from someone coming on board during a manual loading process and flying away or stowing away on board? Basically, how can players protect themselves during this vulnerable time?
Yeah, I think the bigger question is, how are you going to protect your ship and your cargo that's being loaded and unloaded on your ship?
To make this perfectly clear, I'm totally fine with being responsible for my ship and my cargo, but I need keys or biometric locks. We have none in year 13. Everyone who makes it onto the pilot seat has full control over your ship. CIG is talking about a permission system for more than 9 years by now, still nothing in the game. I will show you clips soon. The ability to secure my cargo, to throw a weapon and if needed, shoot a thief, cannot do this in Armistice Zones. Police or security forces. We have none in Star Citizen in year 13 except the brain dead and annoying NPCs scanning our ships for contraband. Bring some friends, join an orc doesn't help, we cannot throw guns in Armistice Zones, we cannot shoot at a thief. And even if we could, who wants to spend his time playing a game by guarding a ship all day long? Or maybe sitting on the pilot seat so others cannot just get onto the pilot seat and fly away? This isn't exactly fantastic gameplay, Chris. Some people will argue the reason we don't have a permission system in the game is we don't have hacking. I would like to point out, hacking tier 0 was on the 3.13 roadmap first quarter 2021. Then it moved to 3.14, second quarter 2021. Where's hacking tier 0 now? It vanished into the void. For year 13 and $1 billion in funding, according to Carl Jones, this was already in January. This is really weak. This is really embarrassing. And I don't know what Chris and CIG are doing. I will show you now clips where CIG is talking about the permission system. I'm already saying my goodbye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Now first is the captain's station. This is usually the owner of the ship, and he has the ability to see what all of the others are currently doing. He also has the ability, if needed, to override one of the other stations and take control of what's going on in that position. He also has the ability to set permissions and set the security states to put the ship on high alert or at a peace state if you're in a less risky position.
Overall, like for a ship owner, we do want you to have some level of control to say, okay, I'm hiring you on board as crew, have them be another player or an NPC, and I'm going to give you access to the engineering station. I'm going to give you access to shield management, and you'll flag your crew for the different permissions that you want. That way, it'll be a bit trickier for someone to just run up to the pilot seat of your own ship, try and get in and use it, and it'll be more, well, you didn't flag him for permissions, so he's going to just rip you out the seat, get in his own pilot seat, and start flying.
This is the exact same problem that we're going to encounter over and over and over again that we've talked about, which is, well, if somebody boards your ship, can they basically just sit in the pilot seat and go? And that's the way it is right now. But if eventually we're going to have much more of a security system concept. And so, irregardless of the fact that I allow other players onto my ship, that doesn't necessarily mean that I, as captain, have basically given them the keys to the thing.
Well,
so if I disappear,
you may not give them the permission to use the helm. They may have the permission to walk all around or use turrets or whatever, but
and so I
may
see
not have the keys to the ignition.
Yeah, I can see the captain, the owner of the ship, basically designating who can do what. In other words, if I'm disconnected, then my navigator, whether it's an NPC or a player, can basically assume control of piloting the craft. But I, in advance, basically said how I want the ship to, how I want the crew of the ship to be able to respond in this particular scenario.
We want people to be able to manage custom groups, to customize permissions for individuals, to set roles on people in those groups, in parties, to be able to set permissions on ships for people who are on your ship. What can they access? What can they get into? And so in order to house all that new functionality, we need a new UI system that's capable of doing that.
We've been looking into building this permission system for ships where the captain can assign item control to specific people in the ship. So he can, give the engineer the role to control the power plant and the coolers, and a weapons officer the ability to control weapons, that sort of thing, right? And the hope is that over time, as we add more and more depth of sort of systems gameplay inside the ships, that combined with the permission system will be conducive to more and more deep multi-crew gameplay.
Okay, so I'm moving around because physics is hard for CRG. And now door will close automatically. Yeah, 10 out of 10. And one container glitched through and now it's on top. Yeah, this isn't exactly a very good way to load your ship, Chris. And even when I use a very bad radial menu, there's only close. There's no separate elevator up. And now my mule gets kicked into the caterpillar. Yeah. Some people say I'm too negative, but come on people. This is a $1 billion project in year 13 with mechanics that are worse than in very, very small indie games I have seen. There's no excuse for this. I don't judge this game like I would judge a small indie dev studio in year 1 or 2. Hey, you're still here. You might want to join me on Twitter or on Blue Sky.